Good evening and welcome. Tonight we will be continuing our read through of this book, History of the World, Map by Map. You guys really loved the last video I did in this book. It's my most viewed video so far this year, so thank you guys. You guys obviously love going through this book as much as I do. But if you haven't watched any of my other videos in this series, I go into this pretty much blind. All I do is pick out which maps I'm going to be reading from, but I don't read them. We're going to read them together. It leads to some interesting situations, but you guys seem to like them, so let's get into it. As you can see by the title, we're going to be talking about Asian empires in this period of history that we're in, like the 1500s, 1600s. Looks like this map is this way. And as you can see, we're starting in India, specifically Mughal India. Mughal India. Let's read about, this is hard to get in frame, the origin of the Mughals, 1504 to 1530. Babur seized Kabul in 1504 and used the city as a base to attack the Lodi Sultanate in Delhi. His victory at Panipat in 1526 brought northwestern India under Mughal control. He made further conquests, defeating the Rajput Confederacy and the Afghans. By 1530, the empire extended from Kabul in the north to Patna in the east. So it looks like Babur's domains are in yellow and his conquests are in orange. So let's see if I can get this in frame. Kind of have to turn it sideways. There we go. So his conquests are up here. Lots of Afghanistan. There's Kabul, and he came down to, looks to be Lahore, and then he wound up conquering all this land here, deep into the subcontinent here. So Agra, Delhi, and deep, like he was just skirting around the Himalayas here, not getting too close. It's kind of hard to conquer massive mountains, isn't it? Setbacks under Humayun, 1531 to 1556. Let me put this like this. There we go. Babur's son Humayun was forced to share power with his four brothers. In 1539, Sher Shah Suri, say that 10 times fast, a former Lodi commander, deposed Humayun and took the throne in Delhi. Humayun campaigned for a decade, and with Persian help, expelled Sher Shah. He died in an accident a year later, before he could regain all the land lost to Sher Shah. So territory lost is this dark green. So we can see they lost all this land down here and then up into, almost got Kabul, and then this chunk here of what's now Afghanistan. So all they had left was just this little strip here, by the looks of it. Next box is the Empire under Akbar, 1556 to 1605. 17-year-old Akbar came to power after the death of his father Humayun. Akbar not only restored the Mughal Empire's old boundaries, but also expanded the empire through conquests, annexing Afghanistan, Kashmir, Sindh, Gujarat, and Bengal, and pushed south into the Deccan. By abolishing the jizya tax on non-Muslims, he won the acceptance of the Hindu territories. So his domains are this kind of lighter dark green. His gains are the greenish boundaries. Do you see? I guess it's blue. Yeah, looks more blue on the map here. So he's got all of this here. Can you see all of this? And over here as well, Bengal. My goodness, my goodness. And then, I guess, all of this as well. He regained all that back, right? Obviously. So his gains were all up in here. My goodness. Pretty much the entirety of like North India, right? Into what's now Bangladesh. Let's read about Aurangzeb's reign. 1658 to 1707. I guess we're skipping Shah Jahan. Okay. Aurangzeb seized the throne after a long civil war against his brothers. He reasserted Mughal power in many of the empire's territories, including Bengal, and also muted a Rajput revolt in 1680. He then annexed Coach Bahar, reclaimed the Deccan, and pushed the imperial boundary as far south as Tanjore. His promotion of Islam and restoration of the jizya tax alienated many Hindus. So area brought under Mughal rule is this kind of olive green here. So we can see a lot of the south here came under Mughal rule. Assam, can you see Assam? Assam's up here. Over this area here and then up. My goodness, this map is so long. This area here, including Coach Bahar. Little pockets here, it looks like. Let's see what happens next. We have the Marathas, 1650 to 1681. The 1650s, the Maratha ruler Shivaji Bhonsle, I did not know how to say that name, I'm sorry, carved out a domain along the western coast of India. Although Aurangzeb forced Shivaji to accept his overlordship in 1665, Shivaji rebelled again in 1678 and extended Maratha territory. I don't know if it's Maratha or Maratha, I don't know. Someone will let me know, I'm sure. The defection of Muhammad Akbar, Aurangzeb's son, in 1681 to the court of Shambhaji, which was Shivaji's son, signaled the start of the Mughal decline. So their kingdom's in purple, you can see here along the coast and in the southern areas here. Yeah, I guess we just skipped Shah Jahan, but he's down here with his beloved wife Mumtaz. He's the guy that built the Taj Mahal after she died, giving birth to like their 12th, 13th child, something like that. But yeah, let's try to navigate this map and read all the little boxes, all the little notes here on the map. 1555, Humayat defects Shah Suri and takes North India. It's hard to read with the Himalayas there. Same with this. 1589, Akbar accepts surrender at Yakub Chak, ruler of Kashmir. Goodness, it's hard to read. 1586 to 1598, Mughal capital during the second half of Akbar's reign. Here in Lahore, which is now in Pakistan. 1526, superior Mughal cavalry defects Ibrahim Lodi, the last Sultan of Delhi. There. 1526 to 1571 and 1598 to 1648, the Mughal capital. Construction of Taj Mahal is completed in 1653. They're in Agra. Why are there? Oh, I was thinking this was Agra, and this was. I was like, why is there two Agras? No, this is Fatehpur Sikri there, which it says in 1571 to 1584. It was the new Mughal capital built by Akbar. There's my cat. He wants attention, as always. He's probably going to try to jump up in a minute. The last one down here is down in Madras, 1522, way back then. Oh, there's another one. Hold on. The Portuguese arrive and build a trading fort. Oh, no, there's more. Hold on. Here in 1586, the first Deccan Sultanate is to come under Mughal rule. In Berar, looks like. Oh, I'm missing so many. 1567, Akbar captures the fortress of Chittagong with the use of siege artillery. And also in 1509, the Portuguese defeat the Zamorin of Calicut and conquer the city. Way before all this. Well, not really way, but it feels like that was like a different time period, you know. than all of this. I guess they weren't too far apart, but I always feel like the Portuguese conquering happened like way before the Mughals, but I guess not. I guess it was kind of around the same time, just farther north, I guess. What are the yellow flags? Mughal conquest. See, different conquests there. Very cool. Very, very interesting period of history of India. One of my favorites, the Mughal dynasties. Very, like, it was so interesting how each ruler was just like so different from the last in so many different ways and ruled so differently. Very, very interesting, I think. Oh man, it's another sideways map. We are going to talk about Ming China and Qing China, but I gotta turn this yet again. Holy moly. Okay. The Golden Age of the Ming, 1368 to 1435. You can't see. There we go. The Ming engaged extensively in domestic and foreign trade, establishing major commercial centers predominantly along China's eastern coast. The country exported manufactured goods such as porcelain, silk, cloth, and paper. During this period, the growth in international trade encouraged many Chinese people to settle in cities throughout Southeast Asia. So major trading centers are marked by these blue triangles. So we can see up here in the north of China, up there, and in central China as well, here along the coast. That's all that I see. Oh no, there's some down here. There's some down here too. And along the coast here. Get all these different borders. Let's see what they all mean. From emperor to prisoner, 1449, 1457. In 1449, Emperor Qing was captured after leading an ill-advised war against the Mongols. Not smart to do. He was released after, unless you're Japan, he was released after a year, but spent several years battling to return to the throne. Throughout Ming rule, measures were taken to reinforce the northern frontier against the Mongol invasion. The Great Wall was extended and then fortified with a series of garrisons and 1,200 watchtowers. So the pink triangles here are Great Wall garrisons. So they're all going to be in the north, obviously. You can see them up here. And it looks like the Great Wall is marked right here. Going all the way along this border here. Whenever I hear someone be like, oh, my goal is to walk the length of the Great Wall, I'm like, are you sure about that? Looks like it goes up here too, because there's another fort right there. It goes all the way over. It's kind of long. Like, it's not a short walk at all. It's thousands of miles. But I mean, people have done it, so. Anyway, oh nope, I skipped a box. The Ming in decline, 1506 to 1620. Emperor Chengde adopted Confucianism, a system of ethics based on mutual responsibility. His successor, Jia, however, favored the more carefree, nature-based teachings of Taoism. In reaction, he left the governing to court officials and ignored the problem of Japanese pirate raids, devoting himself to supporting pastimes and hosting lavish Taoist ceremonies. Ming authority became even more ineffectual under Emperor Wanli. So the Japanese pirate raids are these orange arrows, and the areas affected are also in orange. So obviously they're coming here from Japan, going along the Korean coastline, and head straight over here to attack different ports here in China. So even sailing way down here and hitting up all these ports, and you can see up here is affected pretty much all along the eastern coast here, and even into Hainan Island, which is way down here. Now we can read this box. The collapse of the Ming, 1620 to 1644. The last Ming emperor, Chongjian, presided over a broken administration, failing to control the rise in banditry in the wake of a severe famine that afflicted northern China in 1628. Thereafter, peasant riots erupted in every province and gave rise to several rebel groups. when a rebellion led by Li Juicheng stormed Beijing in April 1644. The beleaguered emperor committed suicide. Wow, what a way to go. Areas controlled by Li Juicheng is in purple, and the rebel-controlled areas are in green. The urban riots there are marked by these little yellow, I guess, angry people. So let's see. The rebellious areas are here in the purple, so we got lots of central. Wait, hold on. Not this purple. No, okay, not this purple. This purple. Okay, I was about to say, holy moly. So this purple here. And then what was the other one? Other rebel areas are in green. So this chunk here and this chunk here. And then riots are, my goodness, all over the place. You can see obviously in the rebel areas. But up here and up here. Way up here even. And then there's a couple down here in Yunnan. Alright, the Qing take China. 1625 to 1644. Following Li Juicheng's attack on the Ming capital, Ming general Wu Songyi decisively shifted allegiance to the Manchus. He opened the Shanghai Pass, allowing Qing Prince Dogon? I've never seen that name, I'm sorry. It looks so not Chinese, but also he's not Chinese. He's Manchu, right? Which is Chinese now, but you'll see why. Dogon to pass the Great Wall, and they allied to defeat Li Juicheng at the Battle of Shanghai Pass on May 27, 1644. On June 6, the Manchus and Wu entered the capital and proclaimed the young Shunji Emperor as Emperor of China. So the Qings controlled all this up here. So we've got Inner Mongolia, there's Manchuria, this is obviously Korea, and way up into like what's now Russia, in Mongolia, right? They controlled all of that. So now they control all of China too, starting the Qing dynasty. The three feudatories, I've never heard that word, 1647 to 1681. By 1647, Qing forces took control of China's key trading cities along the eastern coast, including Fuzhou and Guangzhou. However, they denied government roles to Chinese officials who refused to adopt Manchurian customs. In 1673, former Ming generals staged the revolt of three feudatories, a mass uprising that forced the Qing to soften their policy. So, affected by the revolt of the three feudatories is this purple. So it's so much. We've got Taiwan, we've got Hainan, and then like all this, my goodness. Big old feud of all this here. My goodness. Crazy. But yeah, that was the switch from Ming to Qing. The Qing would be the final, I guess, dynasty of China before everything kind of fell apart. And we have the China that we have today. Ming, China. Oh, we didn't read the boxes. Hold on. I almost forgot. Let's see. 1688. The Qing built a system of embankments and ditches known as the Willow Palisade to restrict Chinese movements into Manchu territory. Oh, right there. Willow Palisade. 1421, Emperor Yongle orders the construction of the Forbidden City, the new capital, Beijing. Hello, cat. 1449, Zheng Tong surrenders to Mongol leader Essen. My goodness, hold on. Sorry, my cat's like craving attention. I'm sorry. 1449, Zheng Tong surrenders to Mongol leader Essen. Hold on, let me see this name. Essen Tajiji, there's my cat, and is taken captive. Oh dear. Kitten, you can't go on my shelves. You're gonna cause chaos. I know you want love and attention, but now's not the time, little boy. He says, what's this? It's a map of Asia. Okay, oh my gosh, moving on. We read that one. 1646. Former Ming capital Nanjing is captured by the Qing. Oh my gosh, okay. It's getting his paw stuck on my post-it notes. When I say chaos usually happens, I don't mean this. Okay, bye kitty. There we go. Reading about China. Gonna learn more. Here in 1683, the Qing forces suppressed Ming loyalties in Taiwan. And in 1647, the port city of Guangzhou was captured by the Qing. Oh, there's one more. They just came in, didn't they? 1681, the last force loyal to the three feudatories surrenders to the Qing. They're in Yunnan. I think I got them all. Really interesting. I didn't know about this period of Chinese history. Well, I know all the dynasties, but I didn't know how one flowed into the other in detail. I didn't know about the Japanese pirate problem. I guess that makes sense. So interesting. Let's see. Now, man, they're all sideways. Let's head to Japan under Tokugawa Ieyasu. Here he is up here. Mr. Tokugawa himself. Let's see what he's up to here. Number 1, the Onin War. This is before his time, but anyway, 1467 to 1477. In 1467, the Ashikaga shogun Yoshimasa abdicated power, having failed to quell civil unrest in the wake of a famine. While the Yamana clan supported his chosen heir, the Hosokawa family promoted a rival claimant, and the dispute escalated into a brutal war. Fighting spread beyond the capital, Kyoto, eroding the shogun's power, and ended with the Yamana submitting in 1477. So the Yamana and their allies are light blue, and the Hosokana, I thought it was Kawa, I think that's a typo, or that's a typo. One of them is incorrect. Anyway, their allies are in purple. So we gotta head down here. We can see purple. Not a lot of blue. I guess there's some blue over here, right? They're allies over here. But it looks like there's, I don't know, it's kind of even, isn't it? I guess there's more purple. It's a lot of blue. But the blue would lose out in the end. Purple up here. Campaigns of Oda Nobunaga, 1560 to 1582. In 1560, Oda Nobunaga foils the attack on his domain by rival daimyo Imagawa Yoshimoto. He then amassed allies and set out to win control of Japan. By 1575, he had subdued his rivals and clamped down on armed militia based around monasteries. Nobunaga was close to securing his rule in Japan, but a disaffected lieutenant forced Nobunaga to commit suicide in 1582. So the areas unified by Nobunaga are in yellow. The battles here are the swords. So yeah, he almost unified most of Japan. He was on a roll until he wasn't. Let's see the battles. There's Nagashino Castle. Odanawa? Is that supposed to be Okinawa? No, it's not Okinawa. Odanawa. One over here. Except, no, that's a green sword. That's a purple sword. Okay, I don't know. I'm looking at all the wrong swords. We need purple swords? We need purple swords. This one, at least. Among others. Anyway, let's read about Hideyoshi. Hideyoshi takes control 1582 to 1598. In the chaos that ensued following Nobunaga's death, his former general Toyotomi Hideyoshi took up arms against rival daimyos, starting with a victory over the Shibata Katsuye. Holy moly, what is this? Shibata Katsuye? The what? At Shizugatake in 1583. I have no idea what that is. He defeated his rivals and in 1587 became Japan's leader. He ordered the Great Sword Hunt, demilitarizing the countryside and restricting the samurai to towns. His invasion of Korea in 1592 began a 6-year war that ended in failure. So Hideyoshi's campaigns are the green arrows, his forts are these green forts, and he's the green swords. All green. Look at all these forts up here. Holy moly, he really went north, didn't he? My goodness. And then we see him going around the countryside here, building more forts, more forts, more forts. My goodness, look at it. My goodness, he went nuts. That's so many. My goodness, he really established himself, didn't he? I guess when you're shogun, you gotta assert yourself. Like this guy did. Rise of the Tokugawa, 1598 to 1603. Hideyoshi died in 1598, leaving behind a sole heir who was only 5 years old. The resulting power vacuum prompted Hideyoshi's allies to rally around the banner of fellow ally Tokugawa Ieyasu. In 1600, Ieyasu's eastern army defeated rival Ishida Mitsunari's western army at Sekigahara, and 3 years later, Ieyasu became shogun and founded the Tokugawa shogunate. So, Tokugawa controls all of this kind of reddish-orangey color, and his battles are these red swords. So he's gained all of this here along the coast. Red swords, red swords, red swords. I don't see any. You know, I went back and watched my last video. Whenever I was like, man, I don't see any. Me watching him's like, there's one there, there's one there, there's one there. So I'm sure you guys can see them. But I sure don't. Red swords? Like orangey red swords. Okay. Well, I believe they're there. But oh no, here we go. Sekigahara. Whew. It's hard to see in all that yellow. We got one. Sekigahara. Next is the Siege of Osaka, 1614 to 1615. Although Tokugawa Ieyasu had unified Japan by 1603, the Toyotomi clan, led by Hideyoshi's son Toyotomi Hideyori, prevented the shogun assuming absolute control of Japan. In the winter of 1614, Ieyasu mounted a large-scale assault on Toyotomi's stronghold in Osaka. A series of bloody battles ensued, lasting 6 months, and ended with Toyotomi's defeat. So that must be the battle there in Osaka. And foreign trade, 1542 to 1641. The Europeans began trading with Japan after the Portuguese landed in Tanegashima, south of Kyushu, in 1542. The Dutch set up a trading post in Hirado, 1607. However, in the wake of a pro-Catholic uprising in Shimabara in 1637, the Tokugawa shogunate expelled the Portuguese and restricted the Dutch to the island of Dejima, before stopping all trade with Europe. So yeah, those are over here, Nagasaki, and there's Hirado. Only the Dutch can trade there. What's interesting is that a lot of Dutch and Portuguese words are still in Japanese today. I think the most famous one is pan, which means bread, which also means bread in Portuguese, right? Pan. It's also French. Let's look at all these. 1600. Ieyasu makes Edo Tokugawa's capital. Edo's right there. 1575. Nobunaga breaks siege of Nagashino Castle by Takeda Katsuigiri. Holy moly. Katsuigiri, relieving Tokugawa Ieyasu, the future shogun. What? Relieving? I guess Ieyasu was there. 1560, Oda Nobunaga defeats Imagawa Yoshitomo to secure the Owari domain. In 1600, Tokugawa Ieyasu defeats Ishida Mitsunari to become the shogun of Japan. At the battle. 1583, Hideyoshi defeats Shibata Katsuye, who commits suicide. I mean, it's what you do when you lose battles in Japan back then. 1582, Nobunaga dies at Honnoji Temple in Kyoto after a siege by Akechi Mitsuhide. Hello, cat again. 1641, the Dutch traders are confined to Dejima Island. 1638, the uprising of Christian converts in Shimabara is suppressed by Tokugawa forces. It's over there. And in 1542, the first Portuguese trading mission lands in Tanegashima, which is way down here. very, very interesting period. The end of the Warring States, the unification of Japan, and the last great shoguns in the shogunate, the Tokugawas, before it goes back to imperial rule. I believe that's the end for tonight. Yes. So we're gonna go into the next era next time. Oh, very exciting. So that was a little more chaotic than usual, I think, but it is what it is. It's what happens when I don't prep beforehand. But thank you so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe if you enjoyed this style of video. Going through this book, we're going to do the American Revolution and South American Revolutions next. So be sure to subscribe so you won't miss out. I hope you found this video relaxing and educational, and I hope that you have a good night. There's India. Good night. Good night. Good night. Good night. What's my cat doing? I do not know. Let me go find out.